Hey, Matt Steinmetz, Dal the Guru Johnson. We are joined by Willard and Dibs. It is the crossover on 95.7 The Game. What's up, gentlemen? How are you?
Put the rat on the table early.
Let's go.
I forgot these guys are off early. We're going to the cafeteria.
We'll do it too.
Steiny extended an invite to you two.
You have reached the first. You are looking live.
Yeah, thank you, Brent.
The first time where you guys have invited me to something, and I can't immediately say no. I'm going to put myself at
Willard at the ship.
I'm going to put myself at questionable. I've listed myself as questionable.
And he's like Drexel in the tournament when it comes to drinking. He's one and done, but he might like Drexel.
I go Calipari, but I like that.
Well, I mean, Calipari, actually, he's done more than that, but, usually you go
his
with the
players
big major.
are one and done.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It depends on the player, and I know that Steiny's got a big college basketball scout of one player. But how'd they do yesterday at Tennessee?
Did they play?
Yeah, there you go.
They usually play one day during the week and then on the weekend, so they played Tuesday. I'll bet they didn't play last night.
Okay. You got to Google it. I just, as a guy who doesn't like college basketball, to hear you talking about an actual college basketball player, it's been tickling me of late. Okay. I don't know how you found this one guy.
I saw him make one play, and then I started watching him, and I was like, this guy's pretty good.
Okay.
He split a double team and then made the great pass to a guy underneath for a dunk. And I was like, I'm going to take him more.
Jordan Poole. Had 30 yesterday against the Lakers. Airballed the game winner.
Oh, boy. You hate to see it.
Yeah.
I got it. I don't know if you guys have one off the top of your head, but we're going to be doing What's Bugging Me.
Always.
What's Bugging You, presented by ATCO Pest Control at 2 o'clock. I got to figure what's bugging me.
I know.
As much as
I don't have one on the top. I don't have one on the top of my head.
Steinmetz has arrived at a Friday and isn't bugged by anything.
He's had a good week.
What the hell is going on around here?
Look at the smile.
He's been very positive.
Trying to think. What'd you think of the game last night? By the way, here's
gutsy late cover for your boy.
I watched the game without any sound on, so I had no influence.
Why?
I was at a bar.
Oh, okay.
Going to a.
Well, you didn't say that earlier. You said that.
Weirdo.
I thought he was at the lab with no sound.
I was at the lab.
Were you at the Grand Oak?
The Theory bar right across the street from Fox Theater, adjacent to it.
The Theory.
Nice. It's called Theory. Nice new spot, 5 months old.
Is that where Flora used to be?
Correct. That's exactly right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
R.I.P. Flora. Great restaurant.
Yeah, it was
and
good.
Fauna was next door. And this is now Theory.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Good spot.
Okay.
Black-owned business, Goo.
There you go.
I tell you what. So you'll like this one. This is kind of funny. Well, I don't know. You tell me, Goo. You guys don't count if it's funny. So we go into this bar, kind of brand new. I'm in there with my buddy Dana.
Yeah.
And we sit down, and there was a woman bartender, and hey, how long you been open? 5 months. Oh, wow, how's it going? Pretty good. We're open 12 to 12. We serve this, that, and the other thing. And Dana goes to sit down, and she goes, and we're a black-owned business. And he goes, well, then I'm out of here. And he gets up and he starts walking out.
And for the listeners, Dana is an African-American.
That's correct.
So,
Dana is an African-American.
You got to pay it off for the listeners who don't know.
Well, now I'm leaving.
Story. We didn't know that.
If you or I do that, it's not so funny.
Even with a smile.
But let's get to it. What your thoughts on what happened after the game with our comrade Bonta Hill?
Can I?
Yeah, set it up.
Can I ask one thing about the game? It's watching with the sound off, and the one thing that stuck. Kuminga stood. He was a man among boys last night. There's no doubt about it. Forget about who the other team didn't have. He's the most dominant player on the court. I thought the officials let them play last night as much as I've seen any officials let an NBA game play. I felt like guys were going to the basket. I felt like there was some contact. I felt like there was a sea of art. Like, it didn't feel like anybody got a cheapie. Anybody got a cheap call? Like, I thought Kuminga absolutely charged on Brunson.
Oh, God.
And then the next play, DiVincenzo just looked for Podziemski to run into and did, and they gave him a three-point play. It's like, I just felt like that was a pretty chippy physical game for an NBA game. I wasn't watching the broadcast. I don't know what Fitz or anybody was saying. I don't know.
They were fine.
I brought it up to Nahigian, and he said, I didn't really notice it that much. But
kind of fit with New York.
Yeah.
It fit with Madison Square Garden and the vibe of, like, Eastern Conference Knicks basketball. Yeah, it felt like a Charles Oakley game.
Maybe Thibodeau has something to do with that.
Maybe.
Well, that's how they play.
Yeah.
And so the Warriors were able to play that style and still win which I think is a good sign for them being able to, play teams and win 138, 136, or you can win this kind of a grinder game.
Yeah, I thought it was noticeable to me in the first quarter. I thought the Warriors were playing hard. Like, I thought they were playing hard. And that's where, to me is where Curry kind of can do that. Like, he comes out and just kind of sets it. He can set a tone with his shooting that impacts other areas of the game. Because all his teammates are saying, okay, Steph kind of wants to get going here. He wants to get going. Well, how can you get Steph going? Get a couple steals in transition. Pick up the defense, and I thought they played hard.
And he had 10 rebounds in like the first quarter or something like that. Did you hear the mic'd up with him and DiVincenzo?
No.
It was pretty cool. I just love seeing stuff like this. It's nothing that'll surprise anybody, but obviously those guys were teammates a handful of months ago, and so when Steph got off to the hot start, Dante walked over to him and was like, oh, so this is how you're going to start tonight, huh? He's like, I saw you go 0 for DC a couple nights ago, so now you want to do this, right? Now you want to do this. And Steph kind of looks at him and goes, ever since you texted me the other day, I had to save this one for you. And they shared a good laugh. And I love that stuff. You love that stuff. I do. DiVincenzo, we were big fans of him when he was here. So that was for that. It's just a fun interaction to see.
For sure. Yeah. What else?
I was sweating the Steph Curry over. I had him over 30 points on not only our prediction segment that we'll do here coming up on Warriors Live, but I actually backed it up and bet it, and he had
31.
Well, I think he had the first 9 of the game. And so, I'm listening to Kevin Dana on the drive home and all that and more. And I'm loving Dana. And I'm like, okay, Steph, he's on his way. Yeah. He's got 25 after 3 quarters. And, we sit down to dinner. And I turn the TV off for dinner because baby girl doesn't need to watch any more TV than she does. And so pulled out my phone as dinner's ending, and he still has 25 with about 6 minutes to go. And I hit that refresh, and I'm clearing the table. And 4 minutes to go, he's got 25. And I'm thinking, this dude's, are you going to go scoreless in the 4th? And then, whap, 2 late threes. Yeah. He winds up with 31. Pay the over, cash me out one time. But it's kind of fun when you have these little tiny side bets.
Yeah.
You're watching a regular season game, and you want them to win. And that game was
there's a whole nother game going on.
There's a game, 2 scoreboards.
Shout out prizepicks.com. I will say this, guys, I'm not being nitpicky, but Willard, that game got to 4 points in the 4th quarter, and I can't put my finger. I've been asking Steiny, they won. I never thought they were going to lose, but how did that version of the Knicks and what's left of it get it to 4?
Because it's an NBA team at home. They're going to make a run. They're going to make a run.
Now that you're saying it.
Whatever this little bitty it's pretty good.
All right, are we good here? Okay, you guys can go. Yeah. Happy weekend. We'll see you at Old Ship.
Yeah.
No, but right?
This team gives up leads, though. That's all.
Of course they do.
They lead the league, tied with San Antonio, 15 or more for the L, but it's like, they look so, and then it'll just evaporate, and then they got to get it again.
I forget what the stat was. Phil Jackson talked about this one time, about the percentage of games. I know now we've got this thing called clutch game. Phil Jackson talked about this years ago. The number of games, and I don't think it was 5 points, which is the clutch stat, but less than 10, which to a coach is like, might as well be tied, right? That's like an 8-point lead can evaporate in like 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So to a coach, if it's a single-digit game, you're talking about a close game. The percentage of NBA games that are that in the second half of the 4th quarter is probably north of 85%.
Well, you're talking to a gambler. So
85%. Like, it's almost all of them. You know what I mean? And Jalen Brunson he's a very good player. So, yes, the Knicks were totally shorthanded, and that's why the Warriors played the whole game from ahead. But I don't know. I don't blow off road wins. In
7 in a row.
7 in a row.
They got one tonight.
I mean, how many months ago was it that we sat here and went, can you?
Remember you laughed and scoffed at, what did you put in Goo's drink to make them bet 25 road wins? They're at 15.
I know.
I got a chance.
I mean,
so you need 25?
I need 10 more, yes.
And how many more do they have?
What was it? No, that's funny. What was it, Steiny? We had to go 14.
I think they need to go 10 and 5.
Yeah, 15, Dibs.
Okay.
They got 15 more road games?
Yeah, remember, they started this trip with 26 games remaining, and 16 were on the road.
Are they that road?
So they're 2-0. They have 14.
14 left, so 10 and 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're in it.
Yeah.
It looked like you were
dead. Yeah, you're right.
You were
we had the funeral.
You had the great start, and then, boy, it got really rough. And then, That last trip, they went 4-1.
Yeah.
And that kind of gave you a new life. And then this trip, you look at the 4-gamer, and now you're thinking about greed.
They got in late tonight, so last night. I'm hearing that in Toronto. So
fine.
And they still got to go to Boston.
I don't like that.
Dallas twice, LA twice.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
They did not get in till 7 a.m.
Oh, I thought it was
Toronto.
3, you were saying. No, 7?
No, 7 apparently.
Why?
They were delayed in New York.
Oh, crap.
Mechanical issue with the plane.
Oh, man, you hate
They
to
should
see
have just
See why
taken
Matt
off
rode
on
the
Air
bus.
Kaminga.
right?
I'll give you a 1.
A 1.
That's a solid
That's a 2.
Yeah.
I got a 2 from Evan, too.
Steiny gets an extra point always for showing exuberance.
Hey, all right,
Anytime,
participate.
and the enthusiasm you've shown this week. Actually, for the first time, you're not bugging me.
There you go. Look at you, a minute away.
I know.
Do we have an intro for this?
No, you got to do the ID.
I got to do 2 things.
Look at it.
I know
busy.
we got what's bugging you. Well, actually, here, go ahead.
Because I tried to get straight to it.
No, I just thought of what I'm going to do. Go ahead.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. And now it's time for What's Bugging You, presented by ATCO Pest Control.
Can I go first?
Yeah,
go ahead.
First.
Start out with Mark Willard.
Watch how
who may
quick
or
it
may
is.
not be uninvited to the old ship.
Let's see.
You want to know what's bugging me?
Sure.
That we've been talking for 10 minutes and we haven't gotten to it yet. That's it.
Okay.
I tried to get to it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you guys do your thing and then let's
buried
get
the lead.
let's get to it.
We'll go to me. We'll go to me.
Thank you, Evan.
The one thing that's bugging me is the Rendon is asked about priorities. He says baseball's not the top priority.
Yeah.
Iguodala's asked, 1 possession, who do you want to shoot it? He says Kyrie Irving. I'm sick of us wanting access to athletes. We want them to be honest. We want them to be open. We want them to be talking to us. And then the minute they do, we rip them. We rip them for what we ask for in the first place. Guru was very upset that he thought Iguodala took a shot at Steph Curry.
Go ahead, Dibs.
Well, I mean, Iguodala saw firsthand what Kyrie can do in the finals when he had that shot and he stuck it in their eye. So he's not wrong. He's not wrong in terms of the past history of
I'm
that.
looking for consistency.
What's bugging me is people on Twitter, a.k.a. X, who they don't know me. And, the tweet yesterday.
No, Dan Dibley.
The tweet that came out yesterday about me saying that I think Wiggins may have played his last
That was a hot take.
game
I loved it.
as a Golden State Warrior. And our station retweeted it. And I love that because it's content and it's my opinion. And it's my opinion. And then everybody, and my mentions are still, I've probably had 500 people at me. And people calling me names, people implying that I'm a felon, people implying that I am using some sort of a sauce or, what does this guy know? He doesn't know anything.
Wow.
It's an opinion, you idiots. An opinion does not have to be based on fact. It can be my own belief. So all you people using disparaging terms and accusing me of X, Y, and Z, you can't get to me.
I love
You're
it.
annoying. You're like a fly that I hunt down in my house. And the way I deal with flies is I don't swat them. I whoosh them with a towel. And if you whoosh them really close, they will lie unconscious for about 30 seconds. And then I pick them up by the wing and I throw you outside. I don't kill you. Killing you's the easy way. It's like all of you annoying gnats on X. Don't think that you're affecting me other than I just whoosh you away. Bye-bye, Twitter followers or non-followers. You got whooshed.
I love that. You don't really touch the fly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you pick them up by the wing.
Wash your hands after.
Yeah, and you can, if you kill the fly.
Is he weak?
I don't even.
No, I'm dead serious.
I don't either.
If you swat if you swat a fly, let's say a fly
I just pictured a maggot, but go ahead.
Let's say a fly, a house fly, flies and lands on your counter, and you smash the fly.
I've done it.
Now you've got fly guts on your counter. So now you got to dispose of the body, right? And then usually you do a chalk outline.
Paper towel.
Yeah, but you've got fly guts on your counter. If you whoosh a fly, so you take like a dish towel and you swing it in the air and you whoosh them, you basically cause a tornado for the fly. The fly can't handle it. The fly will fall unconscious, not dead, and lie there for like 30 seconds. You pick the fly up, you discard the fly. There's no fly guts on your counter, and you're done with it. It's very humane, Goo.
Yeah. We have the thing where you press the laser now, and if you get the fly at the right time while you're pressing the button, it zaps them. So you don't even got to do the old school. I love it. I'm like, yeah.
And they also have that little gun where you can shoot like salt pellets at them if you really want to like hunt them. You know,
I didn't know that. I mean, I try to be humane, but I'm as guilty as anyone. I used to, when I was a little kid, I used to go do that trick where you pull the snails off of the plants and put the salt on them.
Oh, man.
Just watch them burn.
Wow. Oh, man.
I know. Yeah. But that was a little 8-year-old kid. Doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Is it my turn?
With all due respect to both of you, we're not really talking about a cat in a microwave.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Goo, go ahead.
I do have a friend who put their cat accidentally
now that
in the
we got to hear
machine.
that. All right, guys.
Accidentally. Cat got into the laundry basket. She didn't know that he was in there. Yeah, it was a disaster. It was a tragedy.
Cat in the hat.
On this Payday Friday, what's bugging your boy is the black community. And when I say that, I'm being serious. There's more to me than just sports. I'm tired of black folks, comedians, actors, musicians, just arguing and knocking each other down in front of the world to see. I'm fed up. I see it daily. It's sickening. And sometimes I'm like, what these people are arguing over, is it worth it? Like, do you want to be relevant? Do you want to be seen? Do you want to go viral? Because it hurts the black community as a whole. And that's why I'm mad at Draymond Green, or disappointed in what he did yesterday to our own Bonta Hill. That was a big part of it for me, Willard, is I looked at it from that vantage point. Like, you had multiple different scenarios or opportunities to talk to Bonta one-on-one, but to do that at that juncture on the fly, it's your life. You can do it. He did it. I just thought that could have went left, and kudos to Bonta. He handled it well with poise, and it didn't go left. But where I'm at and how I'm feeling, and you guys will never know, I'm seeing too much black on black crime in the media. And I thought that was another example by Dre, and that disappointed me. And that's what's bugging me this Friday is black comedians and everybody going at each other on social media, because I think nobody wants.
I won't try to talk you out of anything, because I will never try to pretend like I know what it's like to be a black man in America.
That,
I won't do that. Can I ask you a question?
No doubt about it.
When you say what Draymond did to Bonta, what did Draymond do to Bonta?
Bring up what he didn't like that Bonta had said on his radio program. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe he could have called that same radio program and they could have had a conversation and it would have been a conversation. But to kind of throw in the circus element and put Bonta in a bad position, and Chris Mullin and Fetzis and everybody watching, it was kind of a little cringeworthy to me.
Okay. And
the venue was just my,
Right. I can fully understand that. I will tell everyone, don't shed a tear for Bonta's radio show. I bet it did really well today.
All right.
So, I've already texted Bonta this. You're right. He handled it very, very well. And I'm sure that a lot of people wanted to hear what Bonta had to say about it this morning.
I got you.
So there's also the fact that it probably was pretty good for Bonta's radio show and career and all of those things. Like it's all of that. I do, and I've heard people already say this back to you today. I do take issue with you earlier saying that Draymond, quote, came at Bonta. I don't see that. I see Draymond got sarcastic. Absolutely. Draymond was in his feelings about things that Bonta and Joe on that show have said, and probably all of us to a degree have said about Draymond. But this is largely like not a problem. These can both be true. Bonta handled it well.
Gotcha.
And Draymond is completely in his right to not like what Bonta said. These are big boys. Bonta shares his opinion. And Draymond shared his back, and he shared it in the way that he wants to share it, which was sarcasm, A, and B, I'm not going to give you a good answer until you, and what's interesting is you said, like, is it on Draymond to go have that conversation, or is it now on Bonta to go have that conversation? Like you're saying, Draymond could have addressed it. Yeah. Well, I don't think that that's incumbent upon him.
Willard, I'll say this to that is, I think Draymond, and I got to clarify, coming at him, He said what he needed to say. It was therapeutic. Like, I think there might not even be I'm speaking on two guys. There may not be a need for a meeting. Maybe Draymond just wanted to let him know.
There's no big deal here.
But I just thought, Dre, why would you call him on the radio program where you heard that or whatever, and you guys can have that, whatever you need to have it. That's all.
Thousand different things going on here. What really would have been fun is if Bonta had said, "Oh, so you still listen to old media?"
Oh.
I mean,
I'll give you a 3.
That might have been fun, right?
That's like the George Costanza thinks of all the great lines a little too late.
Yeah.
You know,
right, of course. And
Bonta clearly didn't see it coming.
And Bonta should not have done that. He handled it outstandingly.
Less is more.
I will say this, though. Like, the idea that Draymond did something wrong, I disagree with. Because, and this is the one thing, and I would say this to Bonta and Joe.
Gotcha.
Now, everyone has had opinions about Draymond Green.
Oh, my God.
Our shows are not separate than that. In my ear, hang on a second.
Who is she?
Be quiet. Yeah. In my ear, those two guys have been the hardest on Draymond Green of anyone at this station. And that's fine. That is a completely reasonable and fair opinion. However, you also have to understand these microphones go somewhere. Yeah. And if you're going to spend a year saying we should trade him, he should never have been re-signed, he's completely overstayed his welcome, totally fair opinion. And fair for Draymond to not like that. Don't you think? This is two dudes who don't agree with each other.
And Bonta, to his credit, Willard said he didn't take what Dre said on the program today personally.
Why would he? Why would he? It's not personal. But I mean, I don't like. I
so
guess
that's why I mean there's no need for a conversation.
But the idea that Draymond came after him, I don't see it that way. Draymond doesn't like what Bonta said, and he let him know. All right. Yeah. Like that, I don't know. That's the way I feel about it. I don't think that anybody did anything wrong here. And you have to understand in our job that you have to stand on what you said and understand.
Come on now.
Right? Like they hear us. And sometimes you got to go talk to them.
Give me this, though.
Be in the locker room and look them in the eye and say, yes, that is my opinion.
I mentioned this to Steiny and the listeners, and I'll make it short. Dude, I've been in the Bay my whole life. I don't remember Fitz going out to a player and that said player bringing up something that they didn't agree with. I don't remember Kruk and Kipe interviewing a player after a win, going to him, Mark. I'm with you. That was his problem. That was the first for me in this market to where I know it happens. To where I've seen it or can recall it.
Well, you're given 3 examples of guys who usually aren't that critical. And I listened to Fitz in his radio program. I actually worked there for a long time, and he was not a guy who was ever going to go after a player. Maybe once that player was gone and on another team. And Kruk and Kipe and their weekly segments, they usually don't go after people. And, Bonta is threading a needle because he doesn't work for the Warriors, but he represents the Warriors and he works here. And our station is definitely a little bit more abrasive than other stations in the market in terms of how we do content.
Just
and
how we do assessment.
Honest assessment, but also we are a little bit more on the hot take side of things than other stations in the market. And so Bonta's trying to serve 2 different ends of the spectrum. And, he got in a spot where he had to answer for it. And I thought he was great last night, the way he handled it.
I loved hearing your story of when this happened with you and Chris Mullin.
Oh, man, it was great.
I had Tommy Lasorda do it to me one time, 1,000 years ago.
But you got to tell me how that
terrified.
went.
Oh, well, and by the way, it didn't go the way where Draymond just like, okay, let's move on. No,
he kept going.
He was livid, and then somebody else, Tony Bruno, did the whole interview, and then we circled back after and was like, dude, because mine wasn't an opinion. Mine wasn't like, I think Tommy Lasorda should be fired. Mine was a thing where weeks earlier I had made a joke that he did not find funny.
Okay.
And
a weight joke?
What? No.
Okay.
No.
I gotta want to know. My bad.
It was a pasta-related joke.
He felt no. So ESPN had caught a camera had caught Tommy asleep at a Dodgers Cubs game at Wrigley Field.
All right.
Okay. Tommy came on with us one time. Our show did a bit about how I'm a Giants fan, and we're sitting here talking to Tommy, and so I always have like a wry look on my face at the end of those interviews. And as soon as the interview ends, Tony looks at me and goes, sarcastically, Mark loves it when we have Tommy Lasorda on. I go, yeah. I fall asleep the same way he does at a game.
Oh, boy.
Tommy was still on the line. I didn't know it. So he waited till we called him again, and months later.
Oh, come on.
And he jumped on, and Tony's like, hey, welcome to the show. What do you think about the game coming up tonight? And he goes, is Mark Willard there?
I can hear his voice.
And I'm like, yeah, Tommy, I'm right here. Because I thought it was like, I'm like, oh, this could be, he's got a joke. Yeah, I'm right here, Tommy. He's like, I don't like smart guys like you. And he went in, and I was like, that's why I appreciated what Bonta did, because it freezes you.
Okay.
You have no idea
he
that
said
it's
they
coming.
don't teach you in college. Bonta said that.
Yeah. All right, so I like, my producer's like, apologize and move on. Apologize and move on. And I'm like, what is going on here? And then I realized what happened, and I'm like, Tommy, like, I didn't mean anything by that, Tony does the whole interview. Then after it's done, Tony says, okay, Mark has apologized. Are we good here, Tommy? Click. Wow. Never spoke to him again.
Wow.
That's a little harsher than your Mullen story, Donnie.
Wow. Lasorda's from Philly. Mully's from New York.
I don't like smart guys.
I also had no interest in smoothing it over.
That's true.
Well,
there you go.
I had to work with Mully for the rest of the week.
Exactly. So it happens.
All right.
It happens.
All right, Goo.
Yeah.
Oh,
the bag is on the shoulder.
Yeah, the bag.
The bag is on the shoulder. He's like, dude,
we're going to set the over-under on whether Willard shows today.
I'm waiting.
All right, guys, have a great truncated
All right, Stein.
show.
Yeah.